All right, what do you guys want to do first? Want to solve this function. Want to find out what its zeros are. So first, let's look for possible rational zeros. So all the possibilities of possible rational zeros include plus or minus 1, plus or minus 3, all over plus or minus 1. So I have 4 solutions to check. Plus or minus 1, plus or minus 3. How do we check? What do we do next? Well, now we go through a process and try to find out, is one of these a factor of that polynomial? And we can do that through synthetic division. So let's try 1. Okay, it's not 0, but I'm checking my work here. All right, so I'm checking that number. So that tells me that 1 is not a factor. All right, let's try negative 1. I get a non-zero number as my remainder. So negative 1 is not a factor. All right, that's all right. I only got 2 more to check. Let's try 3. Kind of glad I'm not having to do this through long division right now, aren't you? Where was I at? 3 times 10 is 30. 41. 3 times 41, that's a huge number. What is that, 123? Add those, 120. All right, tells me that 3 is not a solution. So if there's a possible rational zero, I had 4 tries at it. I'm hoping it's this last one right here, so let's try negative 3. Look at that. Winner. So I found a solution. The solution is negative 3. So what do I do with that? Well, remember now what I can do is use that as a factor. What's the factor of this one? The factor of this one is an x plus a 3. And the remaining term is all embedded right there. So I have an x squared plus a 4x minus a 1. Need to continue. I found out that negative 3 is a factor or is a solution. So let's look at this quadratic here and look to see if that factors. Well, first of all, I know it's not going to factor into any rational roots, because if it did, I would have found them already. So it tells me the solutions here are not rational, which leads me to trying, probably rather than trying to factor and get very lucky at looking at a rational root, I'm just going to go straight to the quadratic. So to do that, my a is 1, my b is 4, my c is negative 1. So let's plug that into the quadratic. The quadratic, if I remember right, is negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Is that right? All right, so I have minus 4 plus or minus 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 1 all over 2 times 1. All right, and that looks like, I'm going to run out of room. I'm going to go back to the top here in a second. Let's see if I can do it. Equals negative 4 plus or minus 16 plus 4 root 20 all over 2. All right, let's take that up and see if I can clean that up a little bit. So I have negative 4 plus or minus root 20 all over 2. That's also equal to negative 4 plus or minus, 2 root 5 all over 2, which equals negative 2 plus or minus root 5. Now notice I remembered how to break down root 20. That's root 4 times root 5. Root 4 is a 2. So that's so we remember how to, let me start over. We need to remember how to reduce radicals if they can be reduced. So there's my other two solutions. One solution was x equals negative 3. I have two solutions here. One is negative 2 plus a root 5. And then I have the other solution is x equals negative 2 minus a root 5. So notice out of my three solutions I have on this one, I have one that was rational, and then I have two, I don't know how I want to do that, were irrational. Again, process, fairly straightforward to find all the solutions. I first started, let's look for a rational one. If we can find one, make it pop out, and then let's deal with what's left.